This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming.
Before the events of Fallout 4, the Brotherhood was once an isolated, highly trained, and relatively benign military organization. For the most part, they kept to themselves, and while they didn't necessarily openly kill Wastelanders, they didn't really go out of their way to help them either. At its core, the Brotherhood of Steel is about collecting and preserving advanced pre-war technology, especially if it has military applications. They also strive to wipe out many of what they deem to be the abominations in the wasteland, which include super mutants, ghouls, as well as synths. Even sentient non-feral ghouls are hated by the Brotherhood of Steel, as evidenced by Paladin Dance's feelings toward both Hancock or the Vault-Tec rep. And while it's no secret that the Brotherhood of Steel has certainly had its ups and downs over the years, during the events of Fallout 4, they have become one of the most powerful organizations in the post-apocalyptic nuclear wasteland. It was clear by the time of the events in Fallout 3 that the Brotherhood could go in two different directions. The first was Elder Lyons' path, to ultimately help protect Wastelanders from super mutants using their military might. The second path was Protector Casdin's path, which was to ultimately continue to collect and hoard all advanced technology and do whatever it takes to get it. Death, destruction, none of it matters as long as the lust for power is satiated. Doing right by others be damned. Today, I will be talking about what made the Brotherhood of Steel an evil and fairly disliked organization among the Wastelanders in the Commonwealth. I'll speculate about what ultimately corrupted them during the 10 years that follow the events of Fallout 3 and discuss how I think events may have occurred. While we won't ultimately know what happened to them until future installments in the franchise, I think it's safe to say that of the two different ideologies I discussed earlier, clearly one of them has won out. I always found it interesting that there was a change of colors on the Brotherhood of Steel's power armor. In both Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, the Brotherhood power armors have a silver and blue aesthetic. In traditional medieval folklore, the White Knight is generally the good guy, while the Black Knight is usually the bad guy. Fallout 4's T-60 Brotherhood armor mostly resembles the look of the Black Knight with the black on red aesthetic. For those of you that have played Fallout 3, you know that black and red were the colors of the Brotherhood outcasts. Alright guys, I'm just going to go ahead and come out and say this. My theory is that sometime shortly after the events of Fallout 3, the Brotherhood of Steel, led by Sarah Lyons and the Brotherhood Outcasts, got into a battle, and Sarah Lyons ultimately lost. While Lyons' Brotherhood of Steel continued for a time, mostly under ineffectual leaders, I believe it was ultimately toppled by the Brotherhood Outcasts, who were then conveniently forgiven and reintegrated by a young and impressionable Elder Maxson. At most, it's safe to say that Maxson was around 10 or 11 years old when Elder Lyons and Sarah Lyons died. This is indicated in Proctor Quinlan's terminal entry on the Pridwin. In the section labeled Enter Maxson, it reads, quote, "When Elder Owen Lyons died, care of young Arthur Maxson passed to Sarah Lyons, Owen's daughter, who was then named Elder in his place. But when Sarah fell in battle shortly thereafter, things became complicated." Then in accomplishments, it reads, quote, "As the years passed and Arthur Maxson grew, so too did his accomplishments. At age 12, while on a training project, he killed 2 raiders and saved the squad that was supposed to be escorting him." Speaking of Proctor Quinlan, he seems like an outcast sympathizer, as evidenced by the following passage labeled Background. This section reads, and I quote, "Despite the defeat of the Enclave in the Capital Wasteland, the Brotherhood of Steel was still an organization divided. The Outcasts, a splinter faction that left the safety of the Citadel, still struggled to survive in the Capital Wasteland, separated from their parent organization. And while some of the Brotherhood members within the Citadel had no desire to reunite with their quote-unquote disgraced brothers, many saw the advantage in bolstering their own force with warriors already trained and indoctrinated by the Brotherhood of Steel. Surely they could work out any philosophical issues. As a general rule throughout history, history is typically written by the victors. Notice how Quinlan describes the Brotherhood of Outcasts and how it is more favorable than that of the Brotherhood in the Citadel, that were led by the Lyons family. He portrays the Citadel's Brotherhood leadership as incompetent with the following passage, quote, "But when Sarah Lyons fell in the battle shortly thereafter, things became complicated. The Brotherhood of Steel, based in the Citadel, found itself in need of leadership, and began appointing one effective elder after another." What happened to many of those ineffective leaders? Some of them likely would have been notable characters from Fallout 3, like Head Scribe Rothschild, Star Paladin Cross, aka the Cyborg, or even Paladin Vargas. All three of these characters were loyal to the Lyons family. Who's to say that they weren't ultimately killed by the Brotherhood Outcasts for not falling in line with the traditional Brotherhood principles? Keep in mind, during Fallout 3, the Brotherhood Outcasts were traitors, and they would be shot on sight by the regular Brotherhood of Steel members. Make no mistake, the Brotherhood Outcasts and the original Brotherhood of Steel were at war with each other. Ultimately, I wouldn't put the deaths of Head Scribe Rothschild, Star Paladin Cross, or even Paladin Vargas past the Brotherhood Outcasts, since they are evil. And for those of you that have played Fallout 3, the Outcasts are coded into the game as an evil faction. And if you join the Regulators, which is a good faction that hunts down and kills evil factions like the Talon Mercenaries or the Enclave, you can kill Outcast soldiers and retrieve fingers from their bodies. While I suppose it's worth mentioning that they don't openly shoot people like the Talon Mercenaries or Enclave do, I think they are capable of that if the technology that they want is on the line. If you played the Operation Anchorage DLC, you'll notice that the Outcasts frequently have infighting and try to kill each other over the technology that they are trying to collect. Defender Sibley ultimately betrays Protector McGraw when the Lone Wanderer helps the Outcasts open the armory. You ultimately have to then kill Sibley and then some of the mutineers, otherwise they will kill you. While it was cut from Fallout 4, there was going to be a possible alternate resolution to Blind Betrayal where you don't execute Paladin Dance, and instead you challenge Elder Maxson's authority through the quote-unquote litany. Based on some of this dialogue, you can challenge Maxson, and if you win, you can become the Brotherhood of Steel's new elder. This, of course, is similar to what I mentioned earlier with Defender Sibley and Protector McGraw, as it seems like this is a common occurrence among the Brotherhood Outcasts. Who's to say that Protector Casdin ultimately got control of the Citadel and Maxson challenged him through combat and ultimately killed him for killing Sarah Lyons? I would still say that even if I'm wrong on some of the things that I've presented here, there's no denying that the Outcasts and their ideology have had a profound effect on the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 4, from the look of their armor to the way they view the outside world, and even for what seems like their insatiable greed to acquire advanced technology. So much so that they're willing to challenge their brothers in arms and kill them to get that technology. While some traits of Lyons' leadership remain in the form of recruiting common wastelanders, the Brotherhood have ultimately been tainted by the legacy of the Outcasts. They may be the Brotherhood of Steel in name, however they are ultimately the Outcasts in spirit. Anyway guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up this particular video. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, and as always, take care and I'll see y'all next time.